Iron Man has a larger ego than your parents when you tell them to eat healthy. Every single chance he gets, he will always twirl his mustache and flash his iron nipples to the world. And today, all thanks to that stupid Goldilocks Thor, Iron Man for some reason now has the audacity to toy around with the God of Thunder just because this foolish Coca-Cola can lift up Mjolnir in the Thor comic series. So one day, God decided to fart a lightning bolt from the sky, and the remnants were so powerful it created a large explosion. But it turns out it wasn't God, it was Thor, who decided to chuck his hammer onto Earth for everyone to see. Later, an old man who actually looks more handsome than post-surgery Liam Payne was inspecting this paperweight, not knowing what it is. Moments later, he started going on his phone and dialing a number. And guess whose phone number he dialed? That's right, this guy. And he was actually very concerned about this call. Not because Mjolnir is on the ground, but because this old man somehow got in contact with Tony through his personal number. But here's the thing, it was already inscribed in Mjolnir, so clearly it was a request from Thor. And Tony was not happy about that at all. Meanwhile, in Asgard, Thor and Beta Ray Bill were having a jolly time frolicking in the fresh Asgardian air and discussing about a grand battle they were going to have that sounds more basic than the Xbox v PlayStation debate. Anyways, they went to grab some weapons in their Nerf collection, but Beta Ray Bill notices that there seems to be no Mjolnir. And Thor was all like, oh yes, that little chum nugget. There is something wrong with it. Meanwhile, the comic then cuts back to Tony and the old man. And while Tony is bathing in happiness like an actor getting out of their MCU contract, the old man notices something on Mjolnir, and the hammer explicitly says to pick it up. Now, you beta males may not notice these rectangular text boxes on the screenshots, but this is Thor explaining why he thinks there is a problem with Thor. And it's because every single day, the hammer has been feeling heavier and heavier, which means the hammer has been feeling increasingly that Thor is unworthy. But that's not his only concern, my little pumpkin seeds. He's not worried about his struggles to pick up the hammer, he's more worried about the lack of struggles others have when picking it up. Because a few moments later, Tony created a dome and told everyone to step back, but immediately after, the old man touched the hammer and managed to pick it up just like that. Thor finally decided to ground pound his way into the Mushroom Kingdom and claim his princess from the old man. And he was very obedient and handed it over cordially, until Tony decides to swoop in from afar and snag the hammer. And he begins to yell at Thor in anger, calling him an absolute buffoon for leaving a powerful weapon on Earth for anyone like Dr. Doom to pick it up. And this jabroni, for some reason, had the audacity to tell Thor that he was going to keep it for some stupid inspection. And Thor had no tolerance for that. But Tony didn't care, which is a shame, because Sydney Sweeney here let out a big burp of lightning and told Tony that without the hammer, he's still a god. Don't think you have my power because you have the hammer. So pretty please, give it back. And then he gave it back and Tony flies away like a chicken. Later, Thor had to turn the old man back to regular man. But before he did, he wanted to do one thing, and that's fly with Mjolnir for a bit, make love with Thor, and have some kids with him. And yeah, that's about it. Subscribe and I'll see you later.